understanding. By wrong understanding, you will feel unhappiness. By right understanding, you will feel happiness. So happiness is a result, but it is a result of what? Right understanding. Your understanding is wrong, then you feel unhappiness. Only so happiness or unhappiness is not directly you will get by, it is a result. If you have wrong belief, then you feel happiness, unhappiness, both the things, means maximum unhappiness only. So real happiness means it never ends. There is no unhappiness after happiness. It is called permanent happiness. And that will come after right understanding, right belief.
ज्ञान विधि ली तो एक अद्भुत आनंद और शांति और एक हल्कापन रियलाइज हुआ.
આમ ખૂબ જ આનંદ જ રહેશે. હું બ્લાઇન્ડ છું અને મને સહેજ પણ દુઃખ નથી રહેતું.
The more numb, I guess, the more detached you can feel from that. So you feel bliss, because once you are just completely united with the body, you have no choice.
हमेशा घर में लड़ाई झगड़ा, अब मतलब बहुत अच्छे से हम लोग रहते हैं. अच्छा. इस पर अगल बगल के आदमी बहुत ताज्जुब करते हैं कि क्या मतलब कैसा गुरु पकड़े हैं कि ये लोग के घर में शांति हो गई.
એટલે આનંદથી તમને કહી શકું છું કે જ્ઞાન લીધું એના પહેલાંની લાઈફ અને શ્રુતિ ટોટલી ડિફરન્ટ હતી અને આજે ટોટલી ડિફરન્ટ છે એવું ફિલિંગ થાય છે. અને આવી ઇન્ટરનલ બ્લિસ મને લાઈફમાં ક્યારે લાગી જ નથી. મને લાગ્યું કે જ્ઞાન ન લીધું આટલા વર્ષ મારા વેસ્ટ થઈ ગયા.
Ich bin frei, Knower und Seher, und alles, was geschieht auf dieser Ebene, ist einfach nur noch Entladen von altem Karma. Und diese Befreiung ist so unglaublich, es ist weder anstrengend, es ist nicht mühevoll, es ist einfach, simpel und sehr, sehr effektiv.
After I had Gnan, all the fear is gone, and Marika is having a lot of good experience with this.
પહેલાં તો ધંધામાં બહુ ટેન્શન રહેતા, ચિંતાઓ પછી બહુ રહેતી. જ્ઞાન થયા પછી બીજે દિવસે બધું બંધ થઈ ગયું.
That when you came with the search in your heart, it's here, but it's very subtle.
પણ ખરેખર જીવનમાં ક્યાંય શાંતિ નહીં. આ જ્ઞાન લીધા પછી જ મને શાંતિ મળી.
आपकी सूरत रब की आप पहुंची मैं ढूंढती ढूंढती लपती लपती. मैं बहुत भटकी हूँ, तो मुझे अब ज्ञान चाहिए।
हाँ, ये इन्हीं के लिए है कि सारी दुनिया में भटक भटक करके थक गए हैं, उन्हीं के लिए ही ये ज्ञान है। Now one thing, if you have bondage, then you want to free from this bondage. If you don't feel any bondage, then this is not required at all, not necessary for you. Other people, they feel bondage, then they want freedom from that bondage. I was at age of 17 when I meet Dada Bhagwan. At the age of 17, I feel all the time bondage. Worldly things, I cannot get any happiness from worldly things. This only gives some temporary happiness. I want something new, I want something else than this. When I got this knowledge, I satisfied. Oh, what I want, now I got it.
Giving real understanding,
Con un conocimiento real, auténtico,
people will be free from unhappiness.
la gente se liberará del sufrimiento, la infelicidad.
It's an absolutely beautiful process, and for anybody who might have some small sense of resonance with this or who is interested in liberation, I can only recommend try it out. It's free of charge, there's nothing to lose, and it's definitely worthwhile to at least give it a chance.
In Dada Bhagwan's knowledge, there is a total clarity, very simple, great deal of simplicity. It's simplicity, extremely practical, effective, and it is working within you. It works with you, with your partner, with your relationships, that all your relationships are improved, your difficulties are reduced, and somehow there is a greater clarity of what is around you, what's happening to you. So I would say that Dada Bhagwan's knowledge of spiritual science, the science of your material world and science of the spiritual world, the separation of two, understanding of the two and your own pure soul, I think it is great for people to know this one because it is so simple, it is so real, and that is my experience.
I find this Gnan has been really, really helpful to me, and I wish that I had it 30 years ago when I started working.
पहले दीपक भाई बहुत मतलब टेंशन रहता था, हमेशा घर में लड़ाई झगड़ा। अब मतलब बहुत अच्छे से हम लोग रहते हैं।
बहुत अच्छा।
इस पर अगल बगल के आदमी बहुत ताज्जुब करते हैं कि क्या मतलब कैसा गुरु पकड़े हैं कि ये लोग के घर में शांति होगी।
तो रिश्तेदार को बाद में मालूमात होगी कि इनके गुरु नहीं, ज्ञानी मिले हैं और मोक्ष का मार्ग मिल गया, इसके लिए शांति से रहते हैं।
My life has completely changed. I am so happy, and I keep getting better and better at knowing, being aware. It's being aware. It's like it gets more and more and more, and a million salutations to you and to Dada and to Nirma. I feel like I didn't say that in the beginning, and I just want to announce it to the whole world. I'm so thankful.
I read a section about Artha Dhyan and Rodra Dhyan. And after reading that, I realized how what I was doing wasn't right. And I started to do Pratikraman for all the mistakes that I'd made. And after that, I felt a lot better in myself. I started to become a lot more confident with myself.
I can just suggest to everyone who took now the Gnan to do also Seva, because I can feel so much happiness inside. Much more than before, because the intellect is thinking like, I will lead you, and you're still not happy, but you follow the intellect. So, but you come here, and you are tremendous happiness is inside.
Okay, so there was a bit of a very introduction of Akram Vignan Dada Bhagwan, which focuses to make the people, their life more better, whatever they are, in their current role, either they are in their father, mother, or husband, wife, son, daughter. How can be a better person and you do obey your own duties much better with the real understanding of Akram Vignan. That a lot of people who are changing their life, we have seen the Dada Bhagwan's center is 256 centers around the globe at the moment, and people are taking benefit of this self-realization ceremony happens throughout the world. Deepak Bhai, who was the one speaker, the speaker name is Puja Deepak Bhai Desai. He's our current Gnani, who gives this self-realization ceremony, happens in Sydney, this coming up in next month in 2 hours. So with those experiment, you will get to know that who am I, real who am I, and how this world runs. So this is the two key factors, give you a lot of your internal conflicts in your mind when you know who am I and how these things runs. Then whenever the life ups and downs comes in, you will see that the internal answers which will come from you, and you will realize that it is taking you inner consciousness to a blissful stage where you will stop blaming the game. So you will start understanding of this Akram Vignan will help you that outside people, whatever gone wrong, we always trying to pinpoint or pick up the people whoever has spoken a bad words to you or something gone wrong, or you try to pick up the fault in others. But with this Akram Vignan, we have seen the moment we have found this things does not go by your way, like it doesn't go by your way or it doesn't happen with your wish, then we have seen that we have got understanding. It gives us the peace inside by applying the very simple understandings of Akram Vignan. So now I've got Najia with me here, who has taken a enlightened ceremony in Sydney, and she's been attending our Sydney chapter for quite regular basis. And I will ask Najia, she has been going around with these programs in US, UK, and also she went to India as well to attend our programs, but she can share her experience for 1 or 2 minutes, and then we can conclude the session later on with the other question and answers.
Hello, my name is Nadia. I am one who took the Gnan 3 years ago. I am entering now the 4th year, and I have been everywhere. I did not leave one stone that I didn't turn to look for this puzzle and the chaos of the world. But I didn't go looking from it from a small the perspective or a religion, because I've been there. I come from Muslim background, married to Christian. I work with a Catholic system. I've been around so many modalities, and just that step that you move from just having that one narrow vision, keeping yourself in one spot and not moving and not trying to open your eyes. And that allows you to see what are the other options and how can I balance what's within me, my values, my experience, with other things that can suit me. So in my search and research, because I come from academic background too, I landed on this magnificent, life-altering self-realization ceremony. And the shift was, I have no words for it. I don't have any words, but I have the experience. And I cannot tell you what is my experience because someone has to experience it to believe it. You have just seen, thank you, the videos actually did sum up a little teaser of what you see about people around the world, young people, old people, middle-aged people, married people, single people, divorced people. They enter this path, and they just that chaos and that confusion and that it just dissipates. And what makes this think dissolve is the awareness of who am I? And everybody talks about who am I, and I have been to so many modalities, but this one is something completely different. Why? Because you experience it, first of all, and secondly, there is an application. The application is when you start seeing the world flawless. You see no fault whatsoever in anyone, no one. Then you just, and the more beyond that, and why do you see, because the word flawless does not, it's a bit cloudy, but when you are walking in the street, you are seeing the pure soul within every package, whether that package, human body, is creature, plant, friend, or foe. You do not have the slightest degree of any judgment or nothing whatsoever. That external package for the Akram Vignanis, the people on this path, we don't see it and we do not judge it. We start seeing everything, even when you see somebody cross into my car. At the beginning, the ego that I brought me, and it's still there. Have I spoken? Do you want me to stop or shall I continue?
Yeah. Just for.
Because he told me how long I'm going to go, because I can go forever. Please give me.
No. Just finish up in 2 minutes max, and then I'll just finish up the last one.
What I'm going to be saying is, this is a very profound insight to dissolve, as you saw in the videos, all worries. Why? Because you are seeing the pure soul in people. You are not seeing people as your enemies. You are not seeing people are somebody who come in just to give you a hard time. That day, if it is a bad day, it is nobody else's fault, but it are the circumstances that came together to allow that. So you start having that sort of, you are always in state of peace, and there is that unity that I have seen everybody is talking about. And they said the spirit of truth, and that is what you attain, and the spirit of oneness, and that's what you get. Because if we're just talking about it and you're not experiencing it, then you are not really in the right space. So that is, for me, no words in English dictionary can fully capture this. It's an experience that must be lived to be truly understood. It is exact, it is profound, and it is long expression. And I am just out of words with this. It's just a magnificent shift that occurs. And we do have the Atmagnani, that is rarity. It is who's coming in September, actually. So we invite you to just come and just see, just ask any questions, about anything, and you'll find the answer. We don't ask questions anymore because we have answers. The answer just comes. Thank pure soul. Circumstances. Nobody is at fault. Every being is a pure soul. And that's all for me. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Najia, for sharing your experience. And I will just play a very small clip on that one, which we are describing about this upcoming event, and what exactly the Atmagnani is talking about this particular the self-realization ceremony, and also what is this Akram Vignan of Dada Bhagwan is. Okay, just give me 1 second.
This is spiritual science This is not a religion or not any rituals we have to do over here. This is pure understanding, but understanding towards reality, absolutism. As per our choice, no restrictions, no need to change our current lifestyle. Whatever we are eating, whatever we are wearing, whatever our family life we are enjoying, we can keep as it is. No rituals, no restriction, no control. What time we have to do something. By understanding and by awareness, we are coming in a stage of pure soul. Shortcut, self-realization within 2 hours only. Suppose we want to go to Atlanta from here, so by car we can take so many time, say whole day, 2 days, while by flight within 2 hours we can reach. Like that, this is a special path for self-realization. Within 2 hours we are coming in a stage of pure soul. This is shortcut. Trendy, subtle to this current time. According to no new time, new space, knowledge is required. So, Akram science means giving directly guidance about pure soul, about spirituality. So that's why this is helpful in this era, Kali Yuga. Safety, make you free from all type of worries and fear, gives you complete security. All these wild animals or birds and every even trees also want safe side. Human also want safe side. But how to achieve that safe side is they don't know. So because of ignorance, ego gets generated. Ego is also always required safe side. How I am safe, all by money or some marriage life or house, or say if I study something, get degrees, graduation, then I will be safe. But all these worldly things are temporary, so safe side is also temporary. When person realize pure soul, I am pure soul, I am permanent, then only he will get ultimate safe side. And ultimate safe side is by realization of pure soul, experience of pure soul. Self-realization will give you ultimate safe side. And really, when person come in a stage of pure soul, he doesn't require any safe side, no protection. He's always safe because nothing temporary change, temporary things will hurt permanent thing. Stop loss, prevent future damage to the relationship, husband, wife, or children, parents, or boss, underhand, anywhere, all relation we can improve without conflicts. We can stay inner happiness all the time. We can adjust with everybody. We can solve our problems with equanimity. Applicable everywhere, useful in all areas of life. Anytime, anywhere, any situation we can apply this knowledge. No need any ritual, no need to have some instrument. But by understanding, we can remain in a inner happiness all the time. An answer to all questions, any question, we can have solution. Our intellect shows worldly question, but we are getting ultimate solution for any question. And when we get solution of each and every question, that will give you inner happiness. Due to confusion, due to not answered question, we are feeling unhappiness. With solution, we will get inner happiness, inner bliss all the time.
That was the key message from our enlightened Gnani Purush, Puja Deepak Bhai Gnani. However, he's just not visiting to Sydney. Those who have a look at their website called Dada Bhagwan, I'll put it up on that our group chat at the moment. That actually is self-residence ceremony is happening in Singapore, Malaysia, Perth, Sydney, and Auckland. In between next 2 months, that's happening around, and he's traveling around with his own expenses, with his own things to impart this knowledge to the others and gives this knowledge to the lot of peoples, regardless of the caste, religion, where you are from, but to achieve the state of bliss, which we all have achieved. We also got a Nilay in today's seminar here. Nilay, is there? Yeah.
Yes, Dilip.
Yeah. Can you, Nilay, just turn up a bit camera and just give a 1 or minute to your experience of attending this self-realization, please?
Hello, everyone. Yes, thanks, Dilip. Thanks for giving me a chance to say something. So I actually took this self-realization, probably 8 years ago. And before then, I was a different person, as I could see the things. If it doesn't turn up as my way, I always used to say that, this is bad. I had a bad day, or, my family, or look at my boss's vision and say, this is really difficult for me. And I always been in the anxiety, depression kind of a situation where, I always used to point my fingers at others, others at fault. But after this self-realization that I gone through, I started looking the world as a different way. That what is happening around me, it's a projection of my own karmas. Who are nobody's at fault, as Nadia mentioned. It just you get a lot of like a peace within you. You see the situation completely differently, and it just a tremendous experience of keeping yourself within it. You feel that everyone is your whole family. You have so much joy in others. The situations may get other way, but you never see disappointed. You don't see the fault of others or situation either. So it's a fantastic, a knowledge. This, don't need to follow anything. It's just more about putting the right understanding within you that will give you that experience of, how you see the things. Your perspective will change entirely. It keeps you in a different sort of environment that it's so much welcoming, so much positive. So I must say, there is nothing to pay. Everyone should just go and experience these 2 hours of self-realization, a ceremony. Just experience yourself and see how you go. Thanks, Dilip.
Thank you, Nilay, for coming on and sharing your experience. Now, if we got a small prayer, which I will be, it's quite, the prayer is touching your own soul, which I'll be playing at the end, but we will keep it for a short, any question answers, which we would take it as basic levels. If very deep spirituality, we will ask to look at that website, which I've given you in the chat. It is a program happening around the globe, and at the moment, the next month is happening in Singapore, Malaysia, Perth, Sydney, and Auckland, if you are coming from there. And every year, Puja Deepak Bhai travels to UK and Germany as well. So, and every June and July, he's in Canada and USA as well. So you try to look at the schedules. If you are not in Sydney and other places, he might be visiting in your city to do this in part of self-realization thing. So we can open up the question answers as you said, Steve. Sure, please feel free to ask the questions.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dilip, and also Nadia and Nilay, for sharing your brief experiences. But I think probably most of the people will want to know what is self-realization, and how is that this is done in 2 hours, and there may be a lot of questions. And there is I think Archana has put a question, what is soul? And I have put a quotation, if I don't know whether everyone could see it. No, wait a minute, I shall sing that. Can you see the screen? Yes. This is again from the message
Yes.
on the Universal Laws of Justice in 2013. The inner joy that every individual seeks, unlike a passing emotion, is not contingent on outside influences. It is a condition born of certitude and conscious knowledge, fostered by a pure heart, which is able to distinguish between that which has permanence and that which is superficial. My question is, how do you compare this essence of this quotation to your understanding of happiness?
Okay, let me read it. Sorry, just I will confirm. Yeah, okay. I just say that one more thing. In this, the inner joy, which we're talking about here, it's different level of experience by individuals, what we feel when we pass on the either hard times in the life or very happiness moments in the life. But the reaction to that particular moments, the reaction, how you handle that situation. Sometimes you are going through very hard times, sometimes you're going very happy in the life, but the reaction, what you're giving into it, it is the where your spiritual understanding is, the reactions gives you your own maturity of spirituality, and you understand the science of karmas very well by helping this self-realization, and that will give you your understanding of where you stand in your spiritual understanding, and which is where with this experience of self-realization, you will be handling this kind of situations much better way, not getting too much of stressed or not getting it too much agitated or depressed with the similar situation when you are not having this gnan or this self-realization ceremony you haven't attended. You will be more reactive person. After this one, you will be a very less reactive or won't be reactive, because once you understand the inner bliss is more important and inner peace is so important than any other thing outly words, So that is my interpretation, but Najia can also share her experience on that particular quote as well.
In the meantime, if anyone else wants to comment or ask question, please raise your hand or use the reaction button. Thank you. Najia.
You muted.
Yeah. I was looking at the other question that was asked about what is the soul. It is very big a question, and I haven't not paid attention to your answer, Dilip. Can you remind me exactly what you?
No, that was my answer was with the quote was shared by Shiva in that presentation, and that was my response to that quote, that how we interpret the joy, inner joy of that emotions. We're passing through that emotions in that one.
Yeah. In the Akram Vignan is really simple. You overcome everything by knowing the self, knowing who you are.
Yeah.
And once you know who you are, there is that separation. Because before you were saying you're blaming yourself, you're blaming other people, so the main core in this one is the question, which is, what is the soul? So the soul is actually who you are, but there is that sort of confusion that most of us for eons have not got the answer. The answers were provided in the past in the Eastern philosophies, and some Western philosophies have tried actually to make some connection, but it's blurry. It is blurry. So to exactly, even if I provide a definition to what is the soul, which is the God within, really, it is that light. It is not a person. It is only light, and it is full of infinite knowledge, infinite vision, infinite bliss, and a lot of other properties. And it arises only after you take this ceremony, which is spiritual dissection of pulling it from the entanglement of this body, which is this body is just really deceits. It's kashais, it's combination, but the science explain it. And there is an article in our Dada Bhagwan that I will be posting because it is very big. And this question, if anybody comes to the ceremony, to actually the event, this is where the best to pose this one to the Atmagnani, who's already high up in his
spiritual awareness
development. We are just starting touching it, but we feel that sort of peace and that oneness, and there is no worries or whatsoever, because after you have that separation, I am seeing the package, but the soul within does not do anything. It's only light, doesn't do anything. That people think that it is the God that is doing everything.
Basically, you would say that you are pure soul in a role of a father, mother, daughter, son, whatever you are doing in a role. But what we get into a completely engrossed, or we got completely get inside that we are this body and we are this role, and we do not realize the self-realization ceremony. The book which I have posted in the group now in the chat, and also put the link in there, that will give you a lot more understanding of who you are and how these things run. So that will give a separation with the understanding. And if you attend this program with self-realization, it will come naturally. You don't have to work hard, or you don't have to do anything. It's the grace of the other Bhagwans that he got this knowledge, and that way he's passed on to the others. And we get to experience this in our day-to-day life. I think someone has raised a hand. Young has raised a hand. Yeah.
And then Vasanta.
Yeah. Thank you, Philip. It's very important lecture that you gave us. It's so important and mind-opening. But what I'm saying is self-realization means like one of the meaning is self-fulfillment. But make sure that people don't have self-denial, because if you are a leader of a nation, you can only be happy if your people is happy. If you are the emperor or the empress of a nation, you can only be happy and sleep well if your people happy. It means they don't make revolution against you, right? So that's one thing. And the other option that we have here is promised land. If you read the Bible, they talk a lot about promised land. And that is an issue for nowadays, because nowadays, in some countries, people are still crying for promised land. They want a green pastures land with good water, not the land when there rains, there will be a lot of mud, and the water will be polluted. They cannot do fishing. The children will die in hundreds or thousands. So therefore, the promised land is a problem. So if people say they're happy, it means there is self-denial of the unhappiness of other people. And that is not according to good religion. So that's, if you talk about on the point of leadership. So what is the soul? Some people said when people die, don't know where the soul going, but some people said whether the soul reside in the brain or the soul reside in the heart. And when the good people, when they die, the angel will come and take their souls, flying them with the angels. But if the people are not good, then the demons will come and take them with the demons, go somewhere else. So that is where the soul is. So the pure soul means the person who they live. For me, happiness, when they live, they probably sacrifice a lot for other people, not for their own happiness. And that is sacrifice step in. You cannot be a pure soul when we just live for ourselves and we're happy and other people are hungry and live in a land of no future and the people are so poor, we cannot migrate them anywhere. No countries will accept them. Thank you.
I can answer that, actually. You posed two questions. Yeah, there are, to the Akram Vignan, there are actually relative. We don't call them real. There is the real and the relative. So we have surpassed and transcended this sort of, that's why when you see these views, do you first of all believe in reincarnation? That is number one in the Akram Vignan. Do you believe in reincarnation? If you don't, we cannot go further, because if you do not believe in reincarnation, you cannot actually respond. We cannot respond to that question. So our base, we believe in reincarnation and the progress of the soul. And everybody has got their own viewpoint. You are right by your own viewpoint, and everybody else is right by their own viewpoint. We are in a stream, and some people is at the top of the stream, the others are still coming this way. So we cannot all put those and say, this is the right way or this is the wrong way. We don't see it that way. We agree with everybody.
Can I interrupt because you mentioned that whether do you believe in reincarnation? If you don't believe in reincarnation, then we cannot go beyond that. Do you mean by saying reincarnation that we, or our soul, is come back to this physical world in physical form? Is that what you are saying, reincarnation?
Dilip, shall I answer it, or you want?
Yeah, it's the soul is reborn. If you that for detail, that's a detailed philosophy of the science of karma, which we can't finish in 5 minutes or 2 minutes. But yes, the karma of understanding, which we take, what is that the liberation can be achieved only when your karmas are equal bound to zero, Then you have, when you are giving in a hard times or giving in a bad times to the others, you're going to come back. As you say, everyone says, the soul, what you sow, you're going to go reap of it. So you sow a good thing, the reap of the good things. It's exactly understanding of science of karma is more important on that perspective. So reincarnations comes back along with that, is that the soul is actually a knower and seer after this understanding of this self-realization. Until then, in ignorance, whenever even you make a cup of a tea, what do you say? I made a good cup of a tea. You take an ego and pride of doing the good things, as someone said before. So when you take a pride and ego of doing the right things, that I have done these things for a community, I've done these things, that means you are taking the pride and you're charging the karmas. You're not understanding the actually spiritual powers behind you who's making you instrumental in this world to do the good things. You're not the whole and soul doer. You are dependent on circumstances to do the things. Even if you have to drive from one place to another place, you need to have your car. Even though you have a car, and if you don't have a pressure in your car tire, then you also flat tire will not you get you there. Even though your health is good, you have a car, but even a small thing not having an air in your pressure tire, you can't go from one destination to another destination.
Yes.
Think about there are so many circumstances that it needs to be getting here.
Sorry, I have taken Jung's question to a different level because Najia's statement, I really wanted to understand karma, as I understand, that every action that we commit, there is consequences for it, and so we have to face those consequences. My understanding of other religions and Baha'i faith, I think most of us accept that. But the reincarnation concept that this soul that within me, after I die, I will be coming back to this physical world in a different form or in another human form. Whether that is what you are understanding of reincarnation, because that is not my understanding after I studied Baha'u'llah.
Yeah, the same thing for me. I studied so many things and I was in so many modalities and I did not comprehend it. And it was actually explained exactly as the Baha'i do explain. But as I say, every religion, every modality, every philosophy, they have their own opinions and which one that resonates with you. So there are for example, when you don't believe in reincarnation, there is a path for you, and that is right. There is nothing is wrong, really. Then once you move and you say, okay, now I don't believe in this, I believe in this, then there is a path for you. And they say to you, when they, what is the example that we say when there is, when the student is ready, a teacher, appears. So we are all going through that flow of development is not just the evolution of the body and humanity, but the evolution of the spirit within us.
Yes, thank you.
Yep. And Pankaj has put a very good one line. Reincarnation is similar to the plastic recycling in the material world, which is very summarized. It's good on the chat. Pankaj has put that one in. Yeah, I think we move on to the next question. Is a Vasanta Perry, I think. Is it?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
I just want to know this self-realization, how it can be given to an individual by someone else, because normally self-realization has to be our own spiritual development, or we get it by our own spiritual meditation or prayers or reflection. I find it difficult to understand how somebody else can give a self-realization for me. If you could just expand on that, please.
Yeah. The self-realization, what Puja Deepak Bhai was showing up in the video, has got a grace from the Gnani Purush Dada Bhagwan. He got an imparted blessings from him, and the way he's done throughout his own studies of this Akram Vignan, the sincerity of Puja Deepak Bhai, which has attracted a lot of people, and Dada Bhagwan has said that I give you this siddhi, the siddhi of, it's like you have a very spiritual, the spiritual master who is enlightened fully, he's giving the rights to this guy who can impart the knowledge to others. Not everyone's cup of tea to give this. It's like if you are having a maths tutor who is a very, very genius and he wants to give it a student that he wants to make him like that, so he will put a lot of efforts to make him like him, So the passes of that knowledge was given to Deepak Bhai from Dada Bhagwan, and he imparts his self-realization knowledge to the others. Everyone here, disciples or followers, cannot give a self-realization ceremony to anyone. This is a very siddhi given by, according to Dada Bhagwan, this is the mission of one of the gods, which is called Simanda Swami. That is come from them. And this is a mediator. We are instrumentals to impart this knowledge to the others, which is mentioned in the book, which I have just posted in the group. And that is the very introduction, small few pages of the book, which will give you a lot more understanding that how this 2-hour ceremony happens and who can do that, particularly about attending this self-realization ceremony.
So is there any
Please
rituals?
take this time out and read that book, which is a PDF file. I put that one in.
Is there any rituals involved in it, or
no such?
There is no rituals. This is no sect. This is no religion. Nothing. You just have to come up with an open-minded, attending this kind of ceremony, and it gives you more, whatever practice you will be doing, whether you're doing it Hinduism, Muslim, or Baha'i, whatever, it will give you more clarity of your own spiritual practice once you attend this self-realization ceremony.
Thank you. Archana Vedanta and Tina has put some comments. Can I ask Archana first, just express your opinion or your question, and then after that, Tina.
Young man was saying that it is our duty that to see that everywhere everybody should be happy, and what I feel is it is not in our control. What we can do and what we cannot do, there are limits. We should be happy within. When I am happy, only then I can give happiness. A happy person can give happiness. When I suffer about somebody in Somalia or somewhere the war is happening, and if I have that negativity, if I fill my mind with that negativity, even in the place where I am, I'll spread the negative ripples, not the positive. So being little detached and doing what we can do is my opinion.
And
it is
you're
noble to
right.
contribute to happiness of others, but our duty first lies in every person's duty is to be independent, to realize their own souls and be strong by themselves and spreading positivity.
Yeah, the Akram actually agrees with that. It is positivity. In fact, we try to avoid anything negative because there is the vibration around you everywhere. There are these subatomic particles that are everywhere. And the Akram Vignan does not even believe the speech. It believes is the intent that attracts more, It's what goes in your mind. So when we get up in the morning, the first thing we say, may no living being in this world be hurt, even in the slightest degree, through this mind, speech, and body, and we go about our day. Because the intent is powerful.
Can I please ask a quick question? When you're meditation, you said that you see the angel. You see the angel come to you, right? And you said, well, manifestation, you said self-realization. Okay, I meditate and I see the angel appear to me, or Virgin Mary, or apparition, anything happen to me. So you think that you reach enlightenment. But how do you know that angel was a real angel or a fake angel? Maybe a demon is turned up as an angel. You never know. You never know. So they faking people, just like if you study Buddha teaching, there's some story, a scenario that demon just pretend to be fairies and angel to come and cheat people like scammers. They like scammer nowadays, like they're not real good, but they pretend to be good. But then there's another notion that even angel, you talk about reincarnation, angel do reincarnate on earth, because you can see a lot of people, they act like angel. And so they say, oh, angel working around us. So we don't have to be waiting to die, then go to heaven to see the angel. So that reincarnation of the angels on earth, because they do help people.
Thank you. Colin has raised his hand. Can I ask Veena to say something that she has put on the chat before Colin? Is that okay, Colin? Okay, Veena?
We can't hear you, Pina. I think you're muted.
Sorry. Yes, I got muted. Yes. Thank you for this very important topic of self-realization. If we don't know ourselves, then what's next? We need to know ourselves. And first of all, we need to realize that we are created in the image of God. We are created pure from the very beginning itself. We are already created pure. We get impurities as we acquire these impurities when we grow up, when we realizing surrounding us. So we get this, we acquire this knowledge. And the very first, when we talk about the purity, really it's spirituality. God is love. God is pure. That's why his creation is also pure. So if I realize myself that I am created in the image of God, I should realize that I am created pure. And I should maintain that purity. How? Through the holy words of God that will cleanse me, first of all. If my cup is pure and clean, I can put a pure water and offer a pure and clean water as well. Otherwise, if my cup is not clean and I offer to others, it's already adulterated. So cleansing oneself first, like somebody mentioned, that the way to be happy is to make others happy. But first of all, how do I make myself happy? So how do I make my cup, the cup of my heart, be pure so that I could impart purity as well? So the words of God is a spiritual food. And also it's something that will cleanse us and to remind us to remain pure and noble and happy, because God wants us to be happy. In the hidden words, Baha'u'llah said, rejoice in the gladness of thine heart, that thine may be a sovereignty ancient, imperishable. Oh, rejoice in the gladness of thine heart, that thou mayst be worthy to meet me and to mirror forth my beauty. You see, talking to God is when we pray, we talk to God because we love God. And when we pray, we do not approach him with lifeless heart. We should rejoice in the gladness of our hearts when we talk to God, because you're talking to your beloved. The sweetest is talking to your beloved, and you're happy talking. See, all this comes only when the heart is pure and when our attachment is towards spirituality. So purity, spirituality, the image of God, and all these virtues are all related. And that is the soul that receive first, recognize first. So possess a pure, as the verse counts, O Son of Spirit, my first counsel is this: possess a pure, kindly, and radiant heart, that thine may be a sovereignty ancient, imperishable, and everlasting. Wow. You see, being pure is attaining eternal, attaining spiritual life. Thank you. I could go on with this. Thank you.
I just added to this one. I quite like your comment, Pina. Just quickly adding a few things. In the spirituality, when you're walking on the journey of spirituality, there is a purification process. No one can achieve the good self-realization at the absolutism until you go a purification process. Everybody has to clear their own impurities, because everybody on the planet Earth would have made a committed some kind of mistakes would have been there in their life since they have born in here. So everyone on this planet Earth born has made some kind of mistakes or given anything which is without intentionally or unintentionally got hurt to the others in a way we don't know yet. So in achieving the spirituality, we all, any practice you pick it up, the purification process is there. And whereas in Dada Bhagwan Akram Vignan, we have got a pratikaman, which is one of the tool we use to cleanse inside, and whatever we feel bad or we feel anything we have done to the others which we would have intentionally or unintentionally hurt others, we need to ask for forgiveness. And that forgiveness inside, when you talk to your God and you ask for your own forgiveness, the sins which you would have done it gives you a lot more clarity of your own pure soul, and it gives you inner peace and blissness that this impurity should go away and I should not commit this kind of mistakes knowingly or unknowingly in going forward in future. But once you have realized this one and you are committed this one, that I don't want to do this, a firm affirmation inside that I do not want to hurt by mind, speech, and body to anyone, then it makes it more in practice, and it will go as a purification process to achieve the spiritual enlightenment.
Thank you. Colin.
Yeah, thank you, Dilip and Gia and Neil. Enjoyed the presentation and probably agree with 90% already. I don't know if that means 90% got a correct view. But
and sorry, we could do only in very short time, very few things, because was only given 24 hours. So we could only do a little bit of here and there. But the eagerness was to do something, that's what it's like.
No, you succeeded in the tiny amount of time. I feel I know something I didn't before. And I was particularly one thing which resonated, which Najia said about when we start to see other people in a more realistic, ultimately real way, then we see that everything is flawless. We know that we're progressing spiritually, and they are too, but in another sense, everything is flawless. But I had two questions. One, maybe I wasn't listening properly, but this word Gnan came up in the video. I don't know what it means. And the other question, well, maybe you can answer that one first.
The first question, which is Gnan, is the knowledge. Gnan terms is meant of the knowledge.
Okay.
The Sanskrit word or Hindi word Gnan means is the spiritual awareness of the knowledge we're talking about here. So that Akram Vignan, we are talking about the knowledge of self-realized person. That's the knowledge. The Gnan equates to that one.
All right.
And I add the Gnan in Akram Vignan, the one that we talk about is with the capital K, which is the knowledge, the absolute, not the knowledge of the worldly scripture where you go studying or you become professor or you become doctor or surgeon or whatever. That is relative knowledge. So we are moved from there, and we are going into the seat of the soul, the absolute knowledge, which is towards the one that we are. That in many religions you are uniting with the God, with Jesus or with Baha'u'llah or whatever. You are becoming one together.
The feeling of oneness comes from that Gnan a lot more better. That's inside. Yeah, that's what.
All right, that's a good explanation. That makes a lot of sense. I can go along with that. Yeah, the other question was, so as I understand it, Dada Bhagwan by grace was given this knowledge and he's sharing it. Was he the first to get this knowledge, or is it, did others in the past, maybe Buddha or Krishna or whoever, have the same knowledge?
What I just summarized, Dada Bhagwan said that when he got this knowledge, he has been in the previous life. He has seen, there are the many gurus in India as well, and any gods, they have seen their previous lives. And so what he has said that I have given you the summary of what Krishna has given to Arjuna in Mahabharata, and also what Tirthankar Bhagwan of 24 Tirthankars from Jainism, he has got the summarize of this one, and also from the Buddhism. So he has given this a very shortcut formula of Akrabriga. This is where we call stepless path. So you do not carry the stepless too much, and you just get this knowledge because there's some research and scientists who has done and achieved this theory of absolutism, which we have seen that a lot of Germans are going and attaining this self-realization ceremony. And we are getting a direct knowledge from him so that we don't have to go wander around the lives and doing the research about this thing, you know. So we are very fortunate in this world that we're getting this kind of enlightened person coming in our life and giving this knowledge. Of course, if I had no kind of enlightened person, it would have wandered me a life and life after life to know exactly who I am or who we are in our pure soul format. So unless and until we don't attain this, we won't get realized that thing. And very lucky to have this kind of person in the.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
And Colin, there is a very small called a very tiny book. You can read it within an hour. He actually tells the experience how he got this, and from before, you know, and stuff like that. His life as a child, he was a businessman, householder. You know, where in India those days, you're going to have to go to the caves and meditate and do the tapas and pujas and stuff before you get in, you know, and he did, you don't need to do any of that. That's why it's called akram. Akram is no steps, those old steps. He said, how many people in this world will be going to the caves? Where are the caves anywhere? Are there enough caves around the world for people to leave the worldly? But here you live your worldly life. You eat as married before you need to take brahmacharya, which is celibacy, to attain the self. And with this akram, you don't need to. You can live as a householder, as a businessman. We've got so many doctors, so many surgeons. And actually, the surgeons are the ones who connect because this is the relative surgery and this is the real surgery. It's amazing. It's magnificent.
Yeah, I think Dilay want to add something. Dilay just want to say.
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, sorry. So just I wanted to make it very simple because I know that Dilip and Nadia have gone into a lot of details, but I just wanted to say the true experience that I had is more about the real and relative, meaning that if I'm talking to my child, I'm a father, but that's my relative behavior, right? So I'm a father, but in real, I'm a pure soul. So basically, I can see the same in him as well. So what he demands, that is fine. That's my relation with him. But that is just for the one side of the coin. The real side of the coin is who I am purely and where I need to go. But in this particular life, my relation, if I'm in the train, I'm a passenger. And, when I'm in the house, I'm a husband. So I got the different roles to play in my life. But internally, I'm a pure soul, which I keep in mind throughout the time, which makes me aware that if I deal with my boss, I'm an employee, I'm working for the company, so I need to be a loyal, ethical while I'm at the workplace. But internally, I know that, from my mind, speech, and body, I don't want to hurt anyone. And that is actually sending a pretty good vibrations in that vibes to the people that I deal with. So I never come into conflict of, getting any trouble or getting anyone, if anyone get anything from me, which is like, a slight list, any turbulences, then what Nadia and Dilip mentioned, that this is more like they give us a tool to every night, just before I go to bed, I spend 10 minutes, probably recollect all the things that happened throughout my day. And by any chance, whether knowingly or unknowingly, if I would have hurt somebody, maybe I pushed somebody in the train or probably honk somebody or something happened, I probably try to recollect and say, look, that was not his fault, but I was in aggression. I was, sort of pushing myself a lot. And that's why that happened. So I go on back and I try to clean that things. Okay. So because I don't sign, I'm not agree with what happened. I'm against that. So internally that knowledge which I got keeps me alive and making me realize that who I am really.
Thank you. And
thank you.
Before I go on, Nile and Nadia, if you don't mind, if you can put your, I have asked in the chat to give you your contacts if it is possible. I would like to have more conversation with you later. And I just want to share the book that Dilip was mentioning. I downloaded it. If anyone is interested, I can put it on our group or individually. This is the book, self-realization, a simple and effective science for self-realization, as expounded by Dada Bhagwan. So
it's a very tiny book. I would highly recommend it. And please, without any prejudice, if you can see the Atmagnani Deepak Bhai is traveling around in your country, anywhere around, do attend these 2 hours and it will change their vision. The only things Dada Bhagwan says that once you have taken the self-realization, you will have the glasses of seeing the things differently than what you were seeing before. So that will change your inner vision completely, and the situations will come up, and then you will be reacting to the situation very differently than what you were doing it before. And that will be today's summary, I think.
The other book Nadia was showing, I put it in the chat, it's called Jnani Purush by A.M. Patel.
Yeah.
The term sometimes that is used because they use the Hindi or Sanskrit words, therefore it is puzzling us. Jnani is a wise man or a one who has attained the knowledge, and Purush means a person or man. So that's what it is.
And if you see that every book has the glossary of the terms, every book has that. And if there's something which is not understanding, we are more than happy to help. But there's a glossary of terms on the website and also at the book at the end as well. Most of the glossary terms are on there. So feel free to reach out and ask. And we got people who doesn't understand. The books are also in Spanish. We also got in Germans. We also got books in Moroccans. We got like around 16 languages. The books are there. You can pick up whichever language is more comfortable. So please feel free to look at the website.
English is good enough for us. Now, Jung, we are getting close, almost 9 now. Jung, your brief question, and then Archana has put a question, what is absolutism? Let's listen to Jung.
Thank you so much. I just want to add on about the process of purification that you mentioned. I think it is very important concept, but we need to remind ourselves that all babies were born, they purify. All babies, I don't know if their mom and dad take drugs or alcohol or cocaine, but all children, angels, they were born purified. So, but I said, you talk about incarnation there, okay. They said, why some children, they are like angels, but why some of them were born in the area, geographical, with volcano, and with, all that disasters that around them. So whether we can say whether we should rescue them or let them stay there, pay for their previous life, whatever they done, and nobody know what they done, no evidence, nothing about it. So if we believe in karma, we might just not carry out justice on the court, the tribunal, the judges. We did not do our job to rescue all these babies who have been purified by God. It's according to the Bible.
It doesn't matter where it comes from or whatever, but the thing is, it just goes slowly, slowly, slowly. The Akram Vignan has got these small little books, like the self-realization. There is a book actually on the science of karma, and go slowly, slowly, because the science itself is really, really deep. And the best thing, Young, when the Atmagnani comes here Friday, is Q&As, and he is the most person you should be really asking those questions, because we are just touching the surface of the Akram Vignan, and we don't want to confuse anybody or be giving some answers that somebody will be saying, oh, these people gave us this. We are not against anybody. We see the pure soul in everyone. Everybody is in their own level of development and evolution with science and everything. But the books, they are a gala. There is Who Am I? Small little books again. And once you start reading those ones, many, many, many answers just start coming. And there are videos on YouTube on Dada Bhagwan with the Germans mainly and US, because we started having a very big group of Westerners, because prior was mainly Hindi and Gujarati. And then because I was confused myself at the beginning, and I started slowly, step by step. And I took the Gnan, and it is harder if you don't take the Gnan. It becomes completely, it becomes completely confronting in a way.
Yeah, can I add one thing here? Yong, just say what Dada Bhagwan used to say, that any religion will start with the compassion for other. So what he says that even if he used to go a market, or whenever he used to walk from his house when he was childhood, he used to ask neighborhood, do you want to bring something from the market? So he shows that the compassions of inner, when you're born as a baby, is by default is there for looking after others, and you checking with the others, and that brings you up to the spiritual enlightenment level. So the compassion for others is by default, and do whatever you can do with your ability, rather than thinking, so nobody is doing anything, why the government is not doing anything. Just forget about what government, country, or anyone is. What you have ability, what you can change the world, try with the small thing, just rather than thinking about nobody's doing anything, just do what you can do. Everyone has their own limitations. We all have our families, children's, jobs, everything have a financial commitments. So everyone has a limited time. And in the limited time, whatever you can do better for the others, Adada Bhagwan has said, do with your capability and abilities, just do it, and it will bring, of course, your happiness is always going to be there, but you don't talk about why this will not other people's are doing, or this the government is not doing. Rather than all spreading that negative vibes, do whatever you can do as a positive change to the outer world.
Some United Nations not even touch all these issues. They could not. So we had to be self-realization that even United Nations couldn't solve all these problems.
Yes, yeah. I mean, all over the world, the governments and agencies are trying. But if we are devoid of these spiritual principles and practices, trying to understand who we are, what is the purpose of life, and what is the process of understanding ourselves, without that, any problems in the world is difficult to solve. But I think the United Nations and governments and other scientific organizations are trying to understand and come closer towards this understanding gradually, and we can individually and collectively make this process a little bit faster. I mean, we have to be open-minded. That's what Dilip was saying, and every religion will say that too. But if we confine ourselves to the knowledge that we already acquired and be happy that that is enough, I don't need any more, then we are caging ourselves. So we have to be open-minded and explore things. And one of the things that I would like to say is that especially in the Eastern countries, mainly in India, the spirituality was there for a long time, and there were many teachers. There were avatars or messengers like Krishna and Buddha, but there were other jnanis, they call it, or gurus, or whatever it is, has been coming time to time and bring understanding among people about life and soul and purpose and things like that. And to my knowledge, I mean, my understanding, whether it is Vadalar, I don't know if anyone heard about it, whether it's Vedatri Maharishi, or whether it is Sai Baba, whether it is Ramakrishna or Vivekananda, or whether it is Dada Bhagavan, they are all trying to impart this knowledge to the people around them and through that rest of the world. We can explore and see. Now that time has come, and
the only thing I will add it to you, Shiva, that is, in Dada Bhagwan, it says like, whatever you go, you do your practice, but there is a need of enlightened person. So many gurus has come in India. The reason behind the kshetra, the bhumi of the place, the India itself has so many enlightened gurus. There is always a one-to-one impart of knowledge. Now we got a technology of YouTube and internet and everything. And so many years we always have seen that so many rishis and brahma rishis has come. They were giving this knowledge to one-to-one wherever they used to go around in each cities, and they used to talk about spirituality and everything, So this is where now we are in the new age world, and this spirituality does help with the YouTube and internet connection that we can fast-pace our spiritual journey. But I would suggest, yes, to have the enlightened person in yourself, regardless of whatever, if you pick Dada Bhagwan, or if you pick a prophet or anybody, that like same as you are doing it in something as your driving instructor. And if you're just going to read a YouTube book or driving manual, it's not going to help you. You need a driving instructor next to you to explain you how you drive the car. It's very important that someone sitting next to you making sure that you are not making any committing mistakes while you're driving. Same thing in spirituality. It is very important that you must have one of those an enlightened person in your life who can guide you at every point of the time of your life where is something going wrong or you're doing something wrong, and he can backtrack you on the right track, that you should be walking this way rather than going on that way. So whoever it is you pick up doesn't matter, but it will help you to be a better person and better self-realized person yourself.
Yeah, I just want to remind people, and I don't want to misleading people about the notion of self-realization and the notion of happiness. Because if we're not real ourselves, we might misleading people on a short term or long term. We don't really know.
Yes, true. I completely agree with you. And Pankaj has put a quote chat. He says, the self-realization journey removes layers of ignorance like onion. Finally concludes there. Thank you, everyone. And we have come to our mark, and we have just passed. And I can add delete to our WhatsApp group. If they have any questions, you can answer in future. Like Pankaj shares some wisdom with us. And also, Nadia, if you can, I'd like to get your contact as well. And thank you, everyone. And we will see you next week. Right. And I have shared your post already in our group, which Pankaj sent. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Good. And if we have made any mistake or presenting because of less time we prepared, but please forgive us. We would not present it, and we are not the spiritual masters of Dada Bhagwan, but he is coming, and you can ask him all the remaining questions to him. Please do get connect wherever you are.
Your lecture is very educational.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Educational.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Pankaj.